I played at a really good high school, won a state championship, went to state multiple times. So I had a good background and just grew up around volleyball. My sisters played. And then I went to college at Harding.
Zoe Harden did more than just go to college at Harding University. She was a two-time Great American Conference Player of the Year and an All-American for the Bison. Now she's a graduate assistant on Coach Melissa Walters' University of West Florida staff, pursuing a degree in public health. Her playing days may be done, but Zoe still likes to spend time working out in the gym.
The difference is that essentially now there's no reason for me to work out. There's really not. I mean, other than the fact that I enjoy it and I just want to stay healthy. For your whole life, somebody tells you when to work out, when to be there, what you're going to do, how you're going to do it. And then all of a sudden when you're done, nobody tells you, nobody cares if you work out, honestly. And you're kind of on your own. And so when I finished, I didn't stop because I was like, if I stop, I don't know if I'll start again. And I'm afraid, I thought I would just gain 30 pounds in a week. But I have learned that's not right.
Society in the barrage of modern mass media gives us an ideal for what a woman should look like. That ideal can be dangerous, especially for female athletes.
There are athletes that still are concerned about what they're going to look like. If I really commit to competing and commit to eating the right way and being in the weight room and pushing heavy weights and doing all the things I need to do to train for my sport, what is that going to do to my body? And how is that going to make my body look? I think there's a ton of athletes that are contemplating, is that really right for me? And is that really how I want to look or portray myself?
Female athletes are at risk for eating disorders and distorted body image due to susceptibility to a feminine thin ideal, while also trying to maintain fitness levels necessary to compete at an elite level. We talked with current college athletes, former collegiate athletes, and a current college coach. We spoke with all-conference performers, All-Americans, national champions, and even the parents of a former player who has started their own website and blog to talk about the struggles elite female athletes go through. Our interviews help to draw a comprehensive and enlightening picture of the impacts of body image messaging on elite female athletes. Understanding body image perceptions of female athletes is significant due to the effects having body image satisfaction and dissatisfaction has on an individual's well-being. We ask the questions: does participation in elite-level sports have a perceived impact on female body image perceptions? And is there a perceived link between body image satisfaction in females and participation in elite sport or habitual exercise? We wanted to examine critically the body image perceptions of elite female athletes and explore comparatively those body image perceptions, and also consider the role of elite sport within the development of body image perceptions in women. We can use the communication theory of identity as a lens to examine how this thin ideal can impact elite-level athletes and their transition out of sports. CTI is a layered theory that conceptualizes identity as experienced at multiple levels or layers, multifaceted and dynamic, and communicated both verbally and through behavior in diverse ways evolving over time. The theory provides an integrative framework for understanding the individual, social, and collective aspects of self and has numerous implications for health. Zoe Harden battled her own body image through years of elite competitive athletics, strength and conditioning training, and struggling with healthy eating. Eventually, that led to some revelations and the creation of her own blog.
So I named it Beneath the 6'3". I'm 6'3", that's where that came from. Well, kind of over quarantine, I went back home and I was going through journals that I had kept in high school and college, but some of the stuff I had written, I was just kind of reading back, and it was kind of made me sad to read. That's how I used to think and feel. I found a document on my computer that was titled, I think I titled it Body Image 2018, and I read it and I remembered exactly where I was, when I wrote it, why I wrote it, and it was just about all the pressure and all the expectations and how athletes have to look a certain way, but society, social media wants you to look one way, and just how exhausting it was. And I literally Googled how to start a blog. I think it was at the end of June or July that I finally was maybe I'll just see how this even works.
Harden started the Beneath the 6'3" website and has posted 20 blogs in the last year. It's something she's still getting the hang of.
Well, when I first started, I was very nervous because like I've journaled for a long time, but obviously no one sees that. And so it kind of just felt like I was just putting it online, and I didn't really know what other platform to share things on. So I just did a blog. My teammates they all said good things, but they were proud of me. And then my friends from home and my family was kind of like, oh, maybe you should have told us some of this stuff. So sorry, Mom.
As a mom, it kind of hit me that where was I and why didn't I know this was all going on? And sometimes even now I still read, when I read her blogs, it's kind of like, okay, I should have known this was going on. And actually I did know something was going on amiss, but when I would ask her, she was very secretive about it. And, oh no, Mom, nothing's going on, I'm fine. And so then when I read the blog, it's like, aha, see, a mom knew.
Zoe has a built-in audience with the West Florida volleyball team and a chance to help share her journey with the next generation.
A lot of them have told me they read it. One of them was like, oh, it's actually kind of funny. And I was like, well, thank you. You sound surprised, but thanks. They've talked about some of them with me. I did a podcast with KP for one of her classes on it. So that was cool. And then just I've shared I did a couple of presentations with them at the beginning of the year, just nutrition wise, and then this side of stuff. So even just to know that they're paying attention is rewarding.
I saw her post it on her Instagram, and I was very intrigued when I saw it. I was like, oh, she writes. I didn't know this about you. So I reached out to her, and after reading the first one that she posted, I was really impressed, and it got me thinking about the topic because, it's not something that a lot of people talk about, especially women and athletes. So I reached out to Zoe and I was like, this is really cool, and I think you should keep this going. I thought it was awesome.
Positive body image in women's athletics is a topic that doesn't get enough attention. Zoe Harden is here to try and change that.
Sometimes I feel like I'm just writing to myself, which is, it's fine. It's me putting my struggle, what I'm going through or what I have gone through online kind of forces me to actually have to put it into action myself. I think I've grown a lot myself through it, and I'm hoping that at least a couple of people have as well.
Our cultural discourse across media platforms has ascribed value-laden identity characteristics to masculinity, femininity, and athleticism, affecting girls' enactments of those particular identities.
It's always in that back of the mind, well, if I lift these weights, I'm gonna get super bulky and I'm gonna look like a man, or guys won't like me, or, my shirt's gonna be too tight, or my arm's gonna look too big. So, it's definitely hard, but that's always something that you reach for as an athlete, is to be in that physical, just perfect condition.
Danielle Norquist just completed a standout career with the UWF women's basketball team, earning all conference and all district honors for her performance on the court and in the classroom.
For years, I always thought, I'd love to be super thin and small. I'm 5'10", I have broad shoulders. Not long ago, just, I'm taking up space and I might as well do it the way I want to do it. I'm never going to be a petite girl. That's just not my genetic makeup. So it is just about getting into that prime physical condition now and just being healthy and feeling good about yourself. Whereas having those images and that, that mindset of, I want to be small. I'm never going to be small. I take up space.
There are several risk factors among female athletes, including societal pressures, environmental pressures, and self-esteem risk factors. But there are also protective factors among female athletes. Things like women's empowerment, self-esteem as a protector, type of sport and body image dissatisfaction, the coach's role, and social identity. Stephanie Lawrence Yelton is the award-winning head coach for the University of West Florida women's basketball team. She was also a standout player at the University of North Carolina, winning a national championship with the Tar Heels back in 1994. She played professionally overseas before going into coaching.
I think the great thing about our society in the last, 10, 15, 20 years is that fitness has become really popular, and fitness has become beautiful. So women with muscles, women with muscle tone has become something that looks beautiful. And that's what we see in our student athletes. That's what they're developing. If they're working hard and their nutrition is right, you're gonna see muscle definition and muscle tone that not only makes them very efficient in their sport, but makes them beautiful in the eyes of society.
Identity is a socially constructed complex. Female athletes report lower levels of positive body image than males, and positive body image leads to body appreciation and an appreciation of the functionality. Athletic identity transformation deals with differences in implicit notions of identity characteristics attributed to athletes and girls, how girls claim and change the meaningful feminine and athletic identities relative to participation in sports.
If you look at like the pro athletes and the way they're built, of course they're grown women, so they're going to be built different than from high schoolers and college students playing a sport. But I think for me, at least, it reminds me that it's okay to be strong. I look at these women; they're muscular. Like a lot of people find that very intimidating, and sometimes not attractive. But I think it gives younger girls and younger women a chance to realize that it's okay to be strong. And that's what I think is great about it.
Kiera Potts is a current member of the UWF volleyball team. Zoe Harden's blog has helped the team tackle some tricky subjects in a healthy way.
Realizing that there's a whole team of people around you who are going through the same thing. And everyone's different. Like I said, you know, not everyone is built the same, and your body is different from everyone. So I constantly have to remind myself that no, this girl over here is not going to look the same as me. I'm not going to look like her. So it's going to be really difficult comparing myself to her. And so just reminding myself that I have a whole team of people who are going through the same thing. And it's an open conversation with us, honestly. We talk about it all the time, and sometimes we have to remind each other, like, hey, it's okay to feel that way. Like, you look good. Like, everyone's built different. So I think having that strong connection with your teammates and building each other up has really helped.
There is not a lot known about female athletes' body image into retirement. There is a retired athlete paradox. For some retired athletes, satisfaction from newfound femininity is complicated by a coinciding and conflicted commitment to a muscular athletic physique.
But there is that double standard, right? Because we still, as women, have to step out and put on regular clothes. You know, we don't always get to wear shorts and t-shirts and be in our high top tennis shoes. You know, we have to put on a dress. We have to put on a business suit. We have to go to the beach. We have to wear different things, and our society views us in different ways. And we want that as women athletes, right? We want to be seen as women, but we also want to be appreciated for what we bring to the table as an athlete.
The sport in which the athlete participates can also have an effect on their body image perception.
What does it look like to be a basketball player? You know, or what does my body need to look like to be a volleyball player? Or what does my body need to look like if I'm a cross-country runner? Because I think in every sport you look at across the board, the athlete body is different, and it's different for everyone. And so that cross-country runner, the body that she has may not be adequate for the softball player, you know, or that softball player body may not be adequate for the basketball player. And so, you know, trying to figure that out on your own as a female student athlete is hard, but it's very important to understand where is my optimal fitness level? What does that look like for me? How does that make me feel? And I know that training and nutrition goes a long way in that part.
Studies have shown that female athletes identified that their bodies were more muscular than the ideal, but accepted their bodies as being beneficial to achieving optimal performance. They also identified that the cultural ideal body image communicated by Western culture meant a feeling of pressure and expectation to conform to unrealistic ideals.
I think being an elite athlete, it's all about like the kind of muscle, the leanness, but then again, being a female and being feminine, you have that kind of second like that second thought, like maybe I don't want to be this muscular, you know, because you might come off as manly, whereas you actually need that to excel in your sport. I think Serena Williams is like a prime example because I don't really think she ever had that sexualization to her. Like, again, she's a big woman. She takes up space. She's amazing tennis player, you know, and so is her sister Venus.
We can also question the effect of media coverage of female athletes and how that impacts the way those athletes view their bodies. What effect does the media have on the way female athletes view their own bodies? With all the advertisements, magazine spreads, social media, and 24/7 sports coverage, what messages are younger athletes receiving?
Confusing is the right word, because even people who aren't athletes, they see these fitness like Instagram influencers and they want to look that way. But then when you're an athlete, you see that, and then you see what high level volleyball players or like whatever your sport is, what they look like. And you're like, I don't know what I'm supposed to look like. So it's just, you can't win.
I think a lot of female athletes nowadays are kind of changing the norms, and it's good to see, especially for young girls who are looking up to them showing the grittiness, and that just shows all the hard work that they've put into it. You know, not airbrushing us and having our hair curled and eyelashes and makeup done, but show us like what it is in the action. Show that we've worked for it, you know?
Communication with coaches and the athletic training staff can play an important role. The messaging must be healthy and purposeful.
You can get on TikTok, you can get on Instagram, and you can see these fad diets going around that, you know, if you're not an athlete, okay, maybe you can try that. Maybe you can just eat eggs and oatmeal, you know, for 3 weeks and lose 15 pounds. But for an athlete, that's not good. You know, that's not good nutrition. It's not good for their performance. It's not good for their development. And so a lot of the bad things that happen through that social media are things that really kind of could reel women student athletes in to changing the way they eat, the way they perform, and the way they look at themselves, because they're seeing something that's different than what they look like in society.
Alongside numerous psychological and physiological health benefits that undertaking sports achieves, studies suggest that participation is likely to lead to more positive body image perceptions and ultimately body image satisfaction.
I go home, I have 2 older brothers, and when I take my hoodie off, they see my arms and they give me a hard time about it, you know? So like, of course that hits me. I don't know if I've ever lifted upper body since basketball has been over, you know, and I think that's always kind of going to be in the back of my mind. But I'm trying to push back and past it, because again, I think, you know, I want to be strong. Like, I take up space, so if I need to push past that and you know, be muscular, I'm going to be muscular. Again, that's my genetic makeup. I have meat on my bones, so I might as well utilize it while it's there, right?
The development of a positive body image is vital, as it leads to other positive outcomes such as self-confidence and self-esteem. The development of a negative body image is associated with a number of damaging consequences. Things like the onset of a range of physical, emotional, and social problems. Individuals with body image dissatisfaction are less likely to value their body, prioritize their health, and are more likely to participate in disordered or destructive behaviors. Body image dissatisfaction is a key component and predictor of health problems such as depression, obesity, body dysmorphic disorder, and eating disorders. It is vital to assess its causes and consequences. This knowledge may support the development of interventions designed to reduce body image disturbance.
I've always been an athlete, so it's hard to compare myself to someone who doesn't play sport. And I think that a lot of people who do play sports try to compare themselves, especially women, to, let's say, models or Instagram models. And it's really easy to get caught up in that. And so that is definitely something I've caught myself doing, and like trying to stray away from that. And that's something that Zoe talks about, and she talked about it with our team, is like, we are different. We work out every day, we play a sport, we're here to perform. We can't compare ourselves to people who, aren't doing that on a daily basis. So it's definitely a struggle.
Research also indicates that in today's society, media has a powerful effect on the body image of female athletes. In more recent years, there is a cultural preference, which is portrayed through the media, for females to have slim and slender bodies. With this external pressure placed on females to have an ideal body type, it has become common for females to be dissatisfied with their own body image.
Showing strong women through media, on social media and all that, I think it is a good thing, especially for younger girls who are growing up and want to play sports. They need to see that it is okay to have muscle, and it's okay to be strong, and it's okay to be confident.
There is also the additional pressure on female athletes to have lean figures because sex sells in the sports world. One example that portrays this is ESPN's Body Issue. The mission of the magazine is to, quote, celebrate and explore the athletic form through powerful images. Editors typically take a female athlete and have her pose naked on the cover of the magazine. A survey conducted by the BT Sport website looked into body image insecurities in women's sports. That survey revealed 80% of female athletes feel pressure to conform to a certain look and body type. Within the same survey, 67% said they feared the media valued their appearance over their sporting achievements.
For as long as I know, all modeling and like that kind of photo Sports Illustrated has been just thin. I mean, beautiful women, but they all look the same. They're all very thin, and it's like even a size like 6 was like plus size for that, which is insanity. And like female athletes, like a size 6 is on the low, like the smaller end. So I think it is cool that they're starting to get more representation of normal bodies. It's not even like some people will come and be like plus size, like this, and then it's kind of like a debate against this isn't healthy, or like these are, you don't need to be promoting overweight, but it's like these bodies are not overweight. Like that girl could be 6'5" in the photo, and you just see like you're comparing her to the standard, what we've always seen, like Victoria's Secret, like there's that big thing with them. They started to have bigger bodies, but it's still like a size 4. And so people just don't really understand the way women are portrayed. And then even I've listened to podcasts of supermodels, and they say, well, like that stuff isn't even real. Like what we are being fed isn't even what they look like.
Promoting a positive body image for female athletes should start at an early age. Topics like healthy eating, performance versus perceptions, and open dialogue between athletes, coaches, and families will go a long, long way.
I think middle school and high school is a great time to talk about body image with female athletes. And I think it's a great time, not only athletes, but with women in general and girls in general. I mean, how much do we look at that's on social media that pictures have been cropped, they've been edited, they've been colored over? You know, what we're really seeing in magazines and on social media and on websites, it's really not the true image. These are doctored images.
You're so receptive of outside messages and outside factors at that young age. You know, you always want to be like the popular girl in your class, like whether it's getting your ears pierced or changing your hair color, wearing just a different clothing style. You know, you always are looking to be better than what you were. I think this body positivity message that we're getting, and you know, just this movement of being healthy, being strong, and eating well. You know, I think we're getting somewhere with it.
Even like telling my college self, like just eat, like it's not that easy and it's not that simple. That's not all that matters. Like I was 13? There's so many other things going on in the life of a 13-year-old that like the fact that I was worried about food or anything like related to my body when I wasn't even, like I was still growing and still just figuring my body out, and I was just becoming an athlete. I just feel like I wasn't fair to my body, and I didn't give it enough grace, and I didn't understand. So I don't know what I would have done differently, but I think if I just could have understood that it's okay that I eat, because as a 13-year-old, you're burning, I don't know how many calories just existing. But I wish I would have, you know, just enjoyed it more and not been so worried about my body, even at that point.